Gaming laptops are getting really good. Even ones that don't break the bank can have very solid performance and build quality. Lenovo's Legion 5 series is probably one of the most popular at its price range, but there's a few different options, like the Legion Pro 5i and the Legion 5i. These two can be spec'd almost identically, so what even are the differences? In this video, I've partnered with Lenovo and Intel to show you these two new gaming laptops. Okay, so their chassis and design look pretty similar at first, but there are several small things that just make the Legion Pro 5i feel a little bit more performance focused. Like how it has thicker feet and even this gap in the back so that there's more room for airflow. Also, the heat sinks wrap around the fans on the Pro 5i and exhaust hot air both to the back and to the sides, whereas the 5i only pushes the hot air towards the back. The Legion Pro 5i has Legion cold front cooling. The Legion 5i has a cold front hyper. It's a hyper chamber or a seal chamber in the middle that keeps air contained in that area, and the fans now spin in opposite directions to push air out of the rear. Both of these have a plastic bottom. The Legion Pro 5i is about 5.5 pounds versus 5.03 pounds for the Legion 5i. And both of these have a hinge that can go 180 degrees. They function the same way, but actually the hinge design is slightly different. If you want the dark gray, they call it the Onyx gray, you can only find that on the Pro model. The Legion 5i comes in the much lighter Luna gray color. But otherwise, the build is quite similar. They both have an aluminum top and keyboard deck. Feels very solid. And neither of them have any crazy designs, it's just a Legion logo on the side with a mirror finish, and a few smaller Lenovo logos. But their power buttons are slightly different. On the Legion 5i, it looks like the O in the Legion logo, and then on the Legion Pro 5i, it's just a simple dot in the middle. And moving on to the screen. So they both have a 16-inch display with a 16:10 aspect ratio, which is honestly the best aspect ratio for good balance between working and gaming. The resolution is 2K, but the best part is that both of these can be spec'd up to 240 Hz. The other option is 165 Hz. 240 Hz isn't a huge difference, but it does make games just look extra smooth. And they're all matte panels with super thin bezels. The 240 Hz can go up to 500 nits, but the 165 Hz displays are around 300 nits. So yeah, there are quite a few differences, but you can spec both of these up to an Intel Core i9-14900HX processor. And just like last year, Intel is using a hybrid architecture, which means that there are two types of processor cores. The 14900HX has 8 performance cores that handle the most intense tasks and keep games running smoothly. These performance cores are new and they can run at higher frequencies than before. These two are engineering sample laptops, so I can't run benchmarks on them, but I have tried a few games on it and it has felt pretty smooth. Depending on the processor, there can be up to 16 efficiency cores. These help with multitasking while not consuming that much energy. Intel also has a hardware thread director. It's meant to help with effectively distributing the work on the P and E cores so that hopefully background tasks will never interrupt gameplay. And as for the rest of the specs, so both of these can be spec'd up to an NVIDIA 4070 GPU and up to 32 gigs of RAM. The Pro model can go all the way up to 2 terabytes of storage, while the Legion 5i can only go up to 1 terabyte. Games can be really large, but if you do need more storage, you can upgrade it yourself. Also, for both of these laptops, you get the Lenovo Vantage software, and it's pretty good. You can switch between the different performance modes. The Function and Q hotkey does this. And you can even set a custom fan curve. This software just gives you more control over how you want the computer's performance and battery life to be. But the computer itself can actually also tweak where it sends power with the LA1 chip. It's an AI chip that looks at the game, its FPS and power consumption, and then it decides how much power to give to the CPU or GPU in order to get the best frame rates. And you can have it enabled in the thermal mode settings. They also got the same keyboard and trackpad layout with a number pad, which forces the typing to be off-centered. But it is pretty useful in some games like Flight Sim, but they can also be turned into macro keys using the Vantage software. And the keyboard is honestly one of the best parts about Lenovo's laptops. They call it the True Strike keyboard. They have 1.5mm of travel and they just feel really tactile. There's also an 0.3mm ditch on all the keycaps. It does help center your fingers and it feels pretty good. Both also have 4-zone RGB lighting and it can be customized in the Vantage software. Also, in some parts of the world, both of these laptops will have a Copilot key on the keyboard so that you can one-press access Copilot, which is like an AI chatbot. These two are engineering samples and they don't have it, so I can't demo it. Both have a 1080p built-in webcam, but there's actually a really funny built-in feature. It's the Lenovo Avatar Master. You can turn into an avatar when streaming, and both also have an e-shutter button on the side to quickly disable the webcam. The ports are one of the more different things about these two. Because the Pro model's cooling design makes it have a bit less room on the sides, they put more of the ports in the back. There's an Ethernet, an HDMI 2.1, 2 USB-A's, a USB-C that can deliver up to 140 watts to the laptop. But if you want full power, then use the power port, and the Legion Pro 5i does come with a 300 watt adapter. There are also ports on the sides, a USB-A and a USB-C here, another USB-A and a headphone jack. The Legion 5i has much more of its ports spread out on the two sides. There's just two in the back, an HDMI 2.1 and a power port, and it does come with either a 230 watt or 170 watt adapter. On the left side, there's two USB-Cs, and the one closer to the headphone jack supports up to 140 watt charging. There's also a USB-A, and on the right side, there's two more USB-A, and interestingly, a micro SD card reader, and also an Ethernet port with a latch that opens up. I think both of these have a good selection of ports. And as for the battery, so they can have the same battery size at 80 watt hours, but the Legion 5i does also have a 60 watt hour option. The Pro model is rated to charge a bit faster. It can fully charge in 60 minutes, while the Legion 5i takes 80 minutes. So yeah, that's the Legion 5 series. I think both of these are solid for gaming, and the 16:10 2K display is great for work as well. These two do have some interesting differences, so comment below which one you would choose, and you can find their links down below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe.